Elvis Aaron Presley, some may know as the king of rock and roll, or just the king. When many people think of Elvis, they think of an old greaser in 1950 who played music and liked peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I'm here today to tell you about the life and career of Elvis Presley and how he achieved the amount of success that he did. Elvis was born on January 8, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi. Many people do not know Elvis had a twin brother, Jesse Garrett Presley, whom was delivered stillborn 35 minutes before Elvis. Being an only child, Elvis grew up very close to his parents and formed a unique, tight bond with his mother. According to Peter Gunlick in his book Last Train to Memphis, The Rise of Elvis Presley, the family attended Assembly of God Church in Tupelo, where he found his initial music inspiration. On his 11th birthday, Elvis' parents bought him his first guitar at Tupelo hardware store. Over the next years, Elvis began receiving guitar lessons from two of his uncles and a new pastor at the family's church. As Gunnick stated, Elvis recalled, "I took the guitar and watched people, and I learned to play a little bit, but I would never sing in public. I was very shy about it." In 1948, Elvis and his family moved 115 miles northwest of Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis began high school. This is where he would receive a C in music when his music teacher told him he had no aptitude for singing. He brought in his guitar the next day and sang a recent hint during the time, an effort to prove otherwise. According to Garnick, a classmate later recalled that his teacher agreed that Elvis was right when he said that she didn't appreciate his kind of singing. This would keep Elvis to motivate and follow his dreams in playing music and singing. Elvis would walk around the streets of Memphis and listen to all the music there was to offer. He would spend a lot of time in Beale Street, which was Memphis' thriving blues scene, not long after Elvis began performing in a local talent show where he became recognized as a singer. By this time, Elvis graduated high school in 1953 and already singled out music as his life. On June 5, 1954, Elvis recorded his first hit, "That's All Right," which was an overnight sensation to local listeners around the Memphis area. From there, Elvis began performing around the Tennessee area and southern states, beginning to get bigger and bigger each day with the younger crowd. In November 1955, Elvis signed his first major contract, and a month and a half later, Elvis made his first recording, "Heartbreak Hotel." In 1956 was known as Elvis' breakthrough year. He got his national debut and made his first TV debut. The crowd began to become crazier and crazier as the day flew by. November was Elvis' first movie, "Love Me Tender," and that started his Hollywood career. On December 1957, Presley received a draft notice. He was granted permission to finish his forthcoming movie, King Creole, that he was working on. Keep in mind, it's only been 21 months since Heartbreak Hotel had brought him to the top for the first time. Since this time, he had dozens of #1 singles, 5 straight consecutive #1 albums, and now was getting drafted into the Army. He left for the Army in March 1958 as a private. Elvis had become convinced that his career was finished, like many stars that during that time left for military service. They would never make it as big as they once were. In August, his mother was diagnosed with hepatitis and her condition worsened. Elvis received emergency leave to visit her. He arrived in Memphis on August 12th, and 2 days later she died of heart failure at the age of 46. Elvis was devastated. His mother meant the world to him. Elvis was stationed with the 3rd Armored Division in Freiburg, Germany, where he would meet 14-year-old Priscilla, his future wife. Elvis was honorably discharged with the rank of sergeant on March 5, 1960. From the time he got out of service in the 60s, he made 27 movies. Shortly before Christmas, 1966, there were seven years since they first met. Elvis proposed to Priscilla and they were married on May 1st, 1967. Their only child, Lisa Marie, was born on February 1st, 1968, exactly 9 months after the wedding. Through this time of getting lost in the movie industry, Elvis hasn't been successful. Elvis wasn't having the best of success through his movies or music. His record label and him both decided it was time for a change. A special recording in late June in Burbank, California, called the 68 Comeback Special aired on December 3rd, 1968. Elvis' first live performance since 1961. In this show, Elvis changed his style. He wore tight black leathers, a standing collar, and playing guitar in a style reminiscent of his early rock and roll days. This outfit would change his persona through the years. After the 68 Comeback Special, Elvis' career kick-started back on track, making more money than ever before. Elvis found peace in his work again, singing songs that he wanted, with no one telling him what to do or say. This leading to countless hit singles like In the Ghetto and Suspicious Minds. Elvis started going on tours, doing live shows and performing in Las Vegas as much as possible. Elvis became bigger and more powerful, with fans growing internationally. On December 21st, 1970, Elvis met with President Nixon, where he asked Nixon for a Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drug Badge so he can send a positive message to young people and that he would retain his creativity. Due to the fact that many people thought he was an illegal drug user, when the truth is, Elvis was against illegal drugs and alcohol. Elvis would go on perform hundreds of sold-out shows and travel all around the country. During this time, Elvis and his wife would grow distance towards each other, leading up to their separation and filing for divorce on August 18, 1972, which would devastate Elvis deeply. His divorce took effect on October 9, 1973. After that, he became very sick through this time. Twice during the year, he overdosed on barbiturates, spending 3 days in a coma. Despite his failing health, in 1974, he undertook another intensive tour schedule. Band members would say that some of his performances that Elvis would sound terrible and could hardly understand. In 1976, RCA, his record label, decided to move a recording studio into his house in Graceland for ease and comfort on Elvis, so he didn't have to travel to make records. During 1977, Elvis was unable to appear at some of his own concerts. He felt sick during this time due to the amount of pharmaceuticals he ingested daily. Even when he did appear at shows, he couldn't be understood, and he would get so nervous that he would hardly talk. Fans would become very disappointed in Elvis, and now confined almost to his room every day. On August 16, 1977, at 3:30, Elvis was pronounced dead at Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis. His cause of death was announced as a heart attack. Elvis was a one-in-a-lifetime unique person. He was loved and still is deeply missed by all of his friends, families, and fans. Elvis had been inducted into 4 different music Hall of Fames: the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Country Music Hall of Fame, the Gospel Hall of Fame, and the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. In America alone, Elvis had 150 different albums and singles that would be certified gold, platinum, or multi-platinum. And it is estimated that Elvis Presley has sold over 1 billion records worldwide, more than anyone in record history. This is why I think they call him the King.